happen. So, welcome to class. I got the GoPro recording right above this camera. We're going to be sideways in this orientation just for the warm-up, and then once we get into the conditioning part, I will vertically flip it as well. I may go out of frame a little bit there, so I'll try to switch different angles as best as I can. But, you know, what can you do when you're working in a tight spot? Maybe I'll move this over into the corner or something like that for a better view. So we are here. So somebody asked for a pole power 1-2 class. So that's what we're going to have. So if you're a level 1 student, obviously you're newer to pole dancing, you're not inverting yet. And if you're a level 2 student, you're working on inverting, starting to get your choppers, maybe one of the 5, inversions, right? Inside leg hang, outside leg hang, brass monkey, a crucifix, a layback. Those would be like the top 5 inversions that you should be learning in level 2. So this is a strength and conditioning class, so we are going to be focusing a little bit more on that part, the strength and conditioning aspect, through some of the pole dancing and those bits and pieces. So since this is an express 60-minute class, we're going to have a light 10-minute warm-up, maybe a little bit more than that. I'll try and keep it just enough to warm up the body so we can move. If you want to support me, thank you all who has donated and supported me, but you can always tip me or whatever it is you want to donate. Venmo, accrobrandon, ACCROBRANDON, or PayPal, accrobrandon@gmail.com. And these can always be found on my YouTube channel, depending on which platform that you're watching this on right now. accrobrandon. Everything is really easy to find me. So tomorrow, I don't know what time, you'll have to look at the ad on my Instagram page. I am doing a pole power level 2 and up, so that'll be level 2 and above, a little bit more conditioning, crazy kind of stuff. And then next week, I think I might do an intermediate advanced liquid motion class, so if you want some harder floor work, that's what we're going to focus on. Yeah? Okay, so let's get started. Okay. No music on my end, that way you can hear me, but if you want to play some music in the background for yourself, you can. Otherwise, we should be in pretty good shape over here. Let me just move this light over here to the right a little bit. We are good to go. Cool. Okay, nice and quick. Get up. Little feet wider than the hips, rock it left and right, shaking out the spine, wiggling out the toes, feel the inner and outer blade of the foot. Yeah, good. Roll it around in a circle, feeling all 4 sides of the feet. Maybe the heels and toes will lift. Roll it the other direction. Yep, good. Coming back to center, nice and slow with the arms reaching up, arching back, folding over, scooping up and back. Arch, fold and scoop. Keep going. Just do what you can, follow along, keep the ears open. 2 more. Last one. Boom, pausing here, dropping the arms, shoulder circles to the back really quick, rolling them out. It's super nice out today. It finally feels like spring. It's going to be in the 70s today. I'm going to work on my tan to the front. You can hear my neighbor maybe hammering away at his house. It's like replacing a wall or something for like weeks now. Back to center. Taking the ribs, chest forward, arch back, ribs back and round. Front and arch. Back and round. 3, 2, 1. Back to center. Ribs to the right and left, side to side. 3, 2, 1. Back to center. Down to the pelvis, tucking it, tilting it. Tuck, tilt, tuck, tilt. I feel like John Travolta in that aerobic movie that I've never seen before. We watched Saturday Night Fever the other day. Boom. Stay low. Push the hip to the right, to the left. Side to side. 3, 2, last one. And back to center. From here, arch, melting it forward. Forward fold, straighten out the legs. Dangle, swivel, swing, whatever feels good to you. Maybe shifting the hips left and right. Grab the elbows. Maybe a little swivel if you want. Waking up the hamstrings. And then slow it down. Take it over to the left side. Left ankle, right hand, left arm in the air for a quick twist. Bringing it down. Other side. Right ankle, left hand, right arm up in the air. My right calf feels a little bit tight right now. Hopefully it'll loosen up in just a bit. And then coming back to center. Hands over the mat in front of you. Squatting the booty. And up. 3, 2, 1. Soften the knees, starting to roll up through the spine. And then arch and melt it back down. Up. And down. 2 more. Last full one. Pausing at the top. Reverse. Head, chin, chest, dive, and up. Head, chin, chest, dive. Straight legs. Head first. 2 more. Last full one. Pausing at the top. Shift the hips left and right. Some side lunges to the left and right. If you need blocks, have those handy, or you can grab them. And as you shift from side to side, go in just a little bit deeper each time. And then pausing on the right side. Yep. And if you need blocks, you can use them, and then maybe you'll go a little bit lower. You need to have a flat foot on the right foot. Okay, so if the heel can't touch or you're up like this, use the blocks to find that happy spot. Turning to the right runner's lunge, rocking it out. Straighten the rear leg, little slow pulses of the pelvis to the ground. Do not bend the rear knee, please. And then pause. Turning it back to the front. Other side. Maybe you're really high, propping yourself up right here, or maybe you can drop it all the way down. And then turning it to the left, runner's lunge over here, rocking things out. Slowing things down, rear leg straight, little pulses, and bounce. And then coming back to center, and then readjust. Forward fold here, push the blocks out to the side if you're using them. Just shift the hips. And then from here, heel and toe your feet together so they're parallel, hip width apart. Turn whatever direction you want into a down dog. Just pedal out the legs, settle up. Fingers are spread wide, hands are active. You're grabbing the ground. It's almost like you're massaging the mat with your fingertips. Pushing out of the ground and away from the shoulders. And then let the shoulders sink back in. Okay, arms are still straight and locked out. You're in your down dog. Yeah, it's like a reverse shoulder shrug. Pushing the mat away. Yeah, so you got little earmuffs with your shoulders. And then release and let the shoulders sink back down. Couple more. Pushing away and sinking in. Pushing away, sinking back in. From here, shifting forward, plank. If you need to drop to your knees, you can. Otherwise, you're in a full plank if you got one. Nice and strong through the arms. Pushing back down dog. Once again, shifting forward, top of plank, full or modified. If this hurts your wrist, think about using the entire hand to distribute the weight, just like you would use your foot when you stand on it, yes? Lowering the pelvis, up dog. Everything's off the ground, yeah? You're not touching, nice and strong through the arms. Pushing back up, down dog. And then shift forward, dropping the knees. Sit back for just a second. Yep, grab the wrists, yeah, or grab the hands. Interlace the fingers, squeeze the elbows together or the forearms, and then roll the wrist in one direction. Roll it in another. And then do the funky, do the Saturday Night Fever, John Travolta. Wah, wah, so fast. Other direction. Boom. And then shake out the wrists like so, front and back. Side to side, like you're shaking the water off your fingertips. And then coming back to center. From here, into a tabletop. Yeah, shoulders over the wrists, hips are over the knees. Yeah, simple cat and cow. Think about tilting the pelvis, it rolls through the spine, the head lifts last. Tucking the pelvis, the spine rounds. Tilt. And tuck. 2 more. Last one. And then take it on a rotation, rolling cat and cow. Using the pelvis to initiate, and I'll do the top of the head. Other direction. And then back to center. From here, tucking the toes underneath you, and then hover the knees just a couple inches off the ground, yeah? If you have a mirror, look at yourself, make sure you're stacked. If you don't have a mirror, you should probably get one. Okay, they're $7 at Walmart for a cheap little wardrobe one. Definitely need to be able to check your alignment. Okay, knees are barely hovering, everything stacked. You're still in this nice tabletop. Shift a little energy forward and then back. Forward and back. Recenter to the right and to the left, to the back, to the front. And then straighten the legs back up. Pedaling it out here. Once again, shifting forward into this crappy floating tabletop. Pivot your hips towards the back of the room and then lift up the front hand. Right, so you're just kind of hanging out here, yes? And then put the front hand down, twist your hips towards the front of the room, take the back hand off, right? So you're in a little 3-point tabletop twisted to one direction. Yeah, come back to center, pivot on the balls of the feet, turn your booty towards the back of the room once again. You're nice and stacked. Look at where my hand is in relation to my shoulders, underneath it. It's not way out here, yes? We're stacked, okay? From here, you're going to try and lift your fingers up a little bit and wiggle them, and then you're going to go for a walk around the heel of your palm, okay? So as you take a little walk, now you might push away a little bit further, or you stay stacked, but you lift, you're pivoting on the heel of your palm, your hand, until you come back to the center, and then reset, straighten out the legs, 2 breaths here for a down dog. Once again, shifting forward, crappy tabletop, hovering. Turn the booty towards the front of the room. Lift the rear arm. Once again, go for a walk, other direction. Yes? Pivot on the heel of your palm. Avoid any obstacles or use them to your advantage. As you pivot all the way around, back to center, back up, down dog. Last couple things, looking forward to their hands. You can either walk yourself there slowly or jump and then sit down Indian style. Come back around through onto your back. Nice and straight here. Yes. Pausing for a second. Wiggle out the feet. Hands are going to be by your side here. Bring your knees up to 90 degrees and then point the shin. So you get a nice 90-degree angle right here. Hands are by your side, okay? I want you to think about tucking the pelvis, and that brings your booty off of the mat. And then as you lower it back down, if you continue to keep lowering, don't lower the feet within the hip socket. Maintain this little shape right here, like you're frozen in a chair, basically, yes? And let the legs start to go towards the ground, and it'll start to open you up into a tilting shape right here, yes? And right before the feet touch, tuck the pelvis, bring it back in, neutral spine, tuck a little bit more. Bring the legs up. I feel this on the outside of the hip here. We could also get some abs. Lowering it back down and back up, and neutral. A couple more times. Tilt, pause, tuck the pelvis, continue tucking, bring it up. We're going to use this later, okay? Straighten out the legs, wiggle them out from the hip socket. A couple breaths here. Yes? Take the right leg. Bring it in towards your chest, okay, like you're doing a little stretch here. And then what I want you to do is from the hip socket, turn this leg into like a figure 4 shape. So it's almost like a hip stretch over here. Don't tweak out the knee, but try to bring this foot across the body like you're almost going to do a figure 4 shape right here. And then try to bring it in a little bit deeper, okay? This will be something for our inside leg hook practice, okay? So we're trying to loosen this up. So don't try and push away with the knee per se and tweak it out, but think about rotating with this part of the femur in the hip socket, yeah, with a little rotation and pulling this in. And then release, other leg, yeah. Take this leg, once again, pull it in first like a nice little stretch. Think about rotating in the hip socket to bring the foot across the body into this figure 4 shape. I am giving a mild push on the inner part of the low thigh, knee area, right? And then pulling slightly through the ankle just to get a little bit of a twist, but nothing too crazy. And then try to bring it in a little bit closer. So it's almost like a pigeon stretch while you're laying on your back. And then release, putting that in. Last couple things here. Hands are by your side, peeling the knees in, rolling back into a plow of choice. Hands are underneath the hips for support, yeah? Driving the elbows into the ground if you need it, and then propping your hips up. This will keep you from rolling back out, okay? If you're not very good at doing shoulder stands or
Plows, I highly recommend you make them a regular practice. It takes a long time for things to loosen up. Okay, from here, if you feel like you're choking a little bit, think about elongating the neck like E.T. does, you know, when he freaks out in the movie and his neck gets really long. Try to straighten your head away, but don't tuck your chin in. Try to keep a neutral head here. If this is working okay, you can extend the legs overhead, but if not, maybe you're just toe tapping from this little tuck shape while you're in your plow. Yeah, maybe you open up into like a floating straddle, and then you can just like teeter-totter left and right, trying to get your feet to touch, and then eventually you'll get 1 foot, 2 foot, red fish, blue fish, yes, and then everything closes up overhead, okay? This takes a little practice and a little bit of time. From here, once again, hands are still underneath the hips for support. We're in this floating shoulder stand, okay? Right now, my pelvis is kind of tucked. What if I tilt back just a little bit to neutralize the spine? Not too much because it wants to pull me out, but not so much like I'm tucked in a little ball upside down, yes? From here, propping myself up, holding in this little tucked shoulder stand, or maybe I'm going to go up all the way into a full pencil while I'm holding on right here, okay? If you can get it more straight, the pelvis needs to go forward as the hips go back, and you need to push down even more with the shoulders to go up, yes? And then from here, coming down and rolling out and pausing. Okay. From here, rolling towards the front of the room, sit yourself up, take a quick breath, put the blocks away, okay? Grab your mat, put the mat away as well, and we're gonna get started here into the class, okay? So putting this all away. Okie dokie, so I'm going to switch the camera into a more vertical view here in just a second. You can clean down your pole, put on all your different grips. As I rotate this up here, okay, let's see what kind of a view we get out of this. Duck-a-duck-a-duck-a-duck, duck-a-duck-a-duck-a-duck. We'll see how that is. Hopefully it'll stay kind of bright. It feels like it's a little bit dark because the stupid camera doesn't know what to do because the rear window is bright. So hopefully that'll work. Hopefully you can see what's going on. If not, it's got to be a good listener, okay? It's too bad Instagram doesn't give you more camera controls. It just lets it do like auto exposure, which is kind of lame. Let's see if there's any options like that. Any questions? Questions? No. Yeah, no controls, right? That's too bad. Okay, so here we are, yeah? We're doing good on time. Where are we at? We are 20 minutes in roughly, so that means we got 40 minutes of some hard work to do. Okay, so we're gonna start with some grip strength first. This is typically how I do all of my stuff, right? We warm up the hands, get those things going really good. We're gonna do some abs standing upright. We'll do some abs laying down on the floor. We'll do some inversion type of stuff. We'll do a little bit of cardio, all the good stuff that you should be expecting here from a 1-2 class, okay? So, let's start with the hands, yeah? So we're gonna do a grip strength hanging exercise. It's just a standard baseball grip, yeah? Baseball, like you're holding a baseball bat, one hand right on top of the other, both thumbs are pointing upward, yes? So, doesn't matter what side you start on, okay? We're just gonna do a dead hang, yes? So we're gonna reach up as high as we can, okay? I've only got like 8 feet to work with, so yay for me, yeah? I can reach the top, okay? But what we wanna do is we're gonna reach up. Okay, both hands are going to stay stacked on top of each other. Yeah, the chest is going to be forward. I'm going to have a mild little bend here, and I'm going to try and hang. Okay, so if you're a 1-2 student, usually they don't work a lot on grip strength, which is why we're doing it. Okay, so you might find that your hands aren't strong enough, but really that comes from forearm strength. Yes, but we also want to just build up that endurance to see if we can hold on longer than we want to. So when it starts to get all sweaty and you feel like, oh, I'm slipping, I'm going to like just jump off now, no. Okay, bend your knees, do whatever you can to not touch the floor and pretend like there's hot lava or something and you're falling to your doom and you don't want to do it, yes? So it'll look something like this. I'm going to jump up, both of the arms are as straight as possible. I can rotate and just kind of show you some different angles while I'm hanging here. Yeah, my chest is forward, it's like I'm looking to the top, the legs are straight and engaged, I have a mild straddle and a mild arch. And then I'm going to hold here for 10 seconds. And all of that great stuff, and then we'll come down and we'll switch sides, okay? So I'm going to do that for you. So if you need to get your stuff done on your hands, get it done really quick, okay? Part of this is going to be rapid fire stuff. So if it's like you need like your hand product ritual takes like 2 to 3 minutes every time because you gotta clean down the pole and then you gotta like add it and you gotta like pat it and then pat the pole. Like, come on, man. Let's just forget that. Let's get to work, right? Sometimes we need to work in not perfect conditions in order to condition ourselves. Yes? Cool. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna get ready to come up. Okay, you're gonna reach as high as you can. No bending in the arms, trying to pull yourself in. Keep the arms totally straight as possible, but still engaged in the shoulders, yes? All right, here we go. We're coming up, 3, 2, 1. We're hanging, we're levitating. Yeah, the legs are back, they're spread open. We're looking up like, help me. Reach for the hand, I'll catch you, I promise. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Boom, and then come up. And whenever you drop down, try to drop as quiet as a feather, super light on the toes, yeah? Not thud all the time, yeah? So as we train dismounting the pole all the time, we want to start practicing dismounting with grace, if you want to call it that, okay? Okay, so we're going to do the other side. We're going to do 2 sets of these, okay? So if you weren't paying attention to what hand was high, just do whatever side doesn't feel natural, because usually whatever feels natural goes to the top. I usually start with my right hand on top, so this time I'm going to do my left hand, okay? I'm going to do it this time with my back to the camera, that way you can see if there's anything that needs to be seen, but you'll still be able to hear me, okay? So here we go. We're coming up off the ground. 3, 2, 1. We're hanging, both hands on top. Straightening out the arms, but engaged through the shoulders. A little straddle in the back here. Looking forward and up. The pull is on my chest or belly. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Cool. Take a couple of breaths. Yeah. Normally in class, we would have like 2 groups. So you would get a breather in between those, but even if you don't, that's okay, because it's rapid fire. It's only 60 minutes, right? Let's just get some work done and like power through it, sweat our asses off, and then go outside. Hopefully, like I said, it's nice where you're at today. It is finally spring, okay? So 1 non-depressing day under quarantine. Yes? Okay, so other hand, we're back, right? We're back to our first side once again. This time I'll do it facing forward, just in case there's anything you're missing, or you can be watching it on the replay. So I'm doing my right hand high, my left hand low. Here we go, coming off the ground in 3, 2, 1. We jump, we hang, we figure out our alignment, straighten out the arms, looking forward, pushing the chest and belly forward as we have a mild arch, mild straddle. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then releasing down. A little breath here. Dry off your hands, whatever. We're going to go right into it. Thumbs up across America. Yes. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, last side, and then we'll move on into some abs and stuff like that. Okay, and we're going to come back to a few different hanging drills and stuff like that too. Okay, so now I'm back to my left hand. I'll do my other side from far away. Okay, actually maybe I'll do the far side just so you can see it over here. Coming off the ground in 3, 2, 1. We hang, chest forward, legs back. Boom. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And pull. Good. Hands are feeling good. Feeling like I still got this, because I don't really do pull very much at home since quarantine started. Not as much as I should. Okay? So, now we're going to get into some ab work. Yeah, maybe if you got your water close by, you can take a sip of that if you need to. Okay, so we're going to do some tuck-ups, some strongholds. And depending on where you're at, and if you're a level 1 student, we're just going to be working on holding and then getting the knees up. If you're a level 2 student, I'm going to give you some more modifications and some options here. Okay, so we're going to have our standard stronghold, right? Like we all know this, right? You get the booty in front, coming around the back. Pole's kind of cool. I'm only holding up there. Yeah, you're squeezing in here really tight, other hand on top, right? And then we tuck our knees up, and hopefully we can do that really nice and good and graceful. So if you're a level 1 student and this is still hard for you, or you tend to slip a lot as you pull up, then we need to focus on the grip and holding here in space more than getting the knees up for right now. Because if you can't hold yourself, you're not going to get very many reps, okay? So we're going to try and shoot for 10, okay? We'll do them in blocks of 3. You're more than welcome to bang them all out if you can right away, but I'm going to give you all the different variations right now, and then we'll do it together as a group, okay? Now, like I said, we're going to shoot for 10 good reps, okay? So that means if I'm like, all right, here we go, number 1, and number 1's kind of shitty because you're out of place or you're moving really weird, that doesn't count. Okay, we need to count the good ones. So usually for me, when I do a set of 10, there's probably 3 to 5 shitty ones where like I do a couple warm-up runs on them till I get my alignment, and then I start the clock, right? I start counting, okay? So the crappy ones don't count, okay? So here we are. We're here in this position. Maybe we're just working on holding if you're a level 1. Yes, what'll keep you in space is keeping that booty meat on the pole and then pushing forward. It's like, come here, right? If you're pushing forward through the shoulder and pushing back on the booty, you've got this tension that will hold you in space. So if I was to be sideways, it'd be pushing back here, reaching forward, holding, and that will keep me from slipping out most times, okay? So you're working on the hold, you're squeezing in here, you're squeezing the elbows, boom, and then we pull the knees up nice and slow and bring them back down nice and slow, okay? So don't do this really quick with momentum, okay? Likewise, if you find that you're slipping a lot, the last thing you want to do is try to jump and pull everything up, because I promise when you jump up, you don't come back weighing the same. You come back weighing more, so jumping never helps usually, okay? So we have our basic tuck-ups, up and down. Okay, if you're more of a level 2, you're somebody who's got a little more strength action to you, I'm going to give you a couple different options, okay? So the easiest, okay, option is if you're just working on the strength, maybe you're just right here squeezing, the feet are barely coming off the ground and you're going to hold, okay? Maybe you're going to be working on tucking the knees up and then back down. If you're a little bit stronger, straight legs, yeah? So you have 2 straight legs out here in front of you, and you pike them up and down, okay? And then, if that's working really good for you, and this is something I would typically teach in like a level 2 plus kind of class, okay, is if you can hold your pike up for a little second, open up into a straddle, and come back like a peekaboo, okay? Or there will be one other variation, okay? So it could be like this. Here's a good one. Boom, pike, peekaboo, back, and then down, okay? If you're somewhere in between there, you're like, I almost want the straight legs, but I can't quite do it. You're going to bring the knees up, and then you're going to straighten into a pike and back down, okay? But you need to hit the tuck before you straighten the leg. Don't give me like some mermaid leg as you come up and down, okay? So this is what it should look like, and I'll do it from 2 different ways, yes? Boom, squeeze, pull, knees, extend, and back, and down, okay? From the side, squeeze, pull, knees, extend, back, and down. Don't give me this. Okay, it's like you're just trying to kick a ball in the air or something as it comes at you, okay? See? I already did 5 or 6 already. I'm ready ahead of you. Okay, so now, here we go. We'll start on the right side, okay? We'll do blocks of 3, and then we'll switch sides, okay? We're going to get to 10. So, I can't see you, so you're on your own honesty policy here. So if the first couple ones are like, ooh, kind of shitty, if you really want to challenge yourself and be true to yourself, do a couple extra that are quality so that we're hitting that really good 10 reps, okay? If you can't even make it to 10, that's okay. That's the number that we're shooting for, okay? So, right side, squeezing in. I'm just going to do tuck-ups because I'm teaching the class and doing all the demoing, so I'm going to take it easy on myself. Yes, boom, squeezing in, holding in. Boom, squeeze the knees together. Here we go. Oh, up for 1 and down. 2 and down. 3 and down. Pause right to the left side. No wiping the pole, no switching the hands. Just go for it. We're going to have a breath in between set 1 and set 2. Setting up for the left side. This will be my interesting side. Outside hand is on top. Squeezing in here. Squeeze the elbows. Pulling. Here we go for 1. And down, 2, and down, 3, and down. Ha! Okay, now we can take a breath, okay? Take a quick breath, maybe a sip of water, maybe redo your hands if you need to. We're at set 1 of 3.1, 3.3. Actually, we'll do 3, 3, and 4. That way the math works out really good. We get to 10 in the smallest amount of time, yeah? Okay. So, if you have any questions, you can always type them in. I'll answer those for you. This feels good, okay? So, here we go. We're ready for set number 2. Okay, same deal. We'll start on the right, we'll do the left, we'll do a set of 3. If you're a champ and you just want to do 5 and 5 or whatever and knock it out, you can, but it is a level 1 too. I know that 3 is right around the magic number for most people, but 5 is getting good. I usually can do like 5 to 7 in a row before I'm like, but we want to get to 10, okay? So here we go, second set. Here we go, right arm, left hand high, boom. Okay, up for 1. I lied, I'm doing straight legs. 2, and down. 3, and back. And pause. Good. Right to the left side. I see a question. I'll come and get it after this. Okay. Woo! If I feel like I'm a smoker, but I'm not. Just my cardio sucks because quarantine, yes? Boom. I can't breathe. Okay, here we go. I'm being dramatic. Okay, pulling in here. Here we go. Squeezing. Outside hand is on top. Right above the other hand. Squeezing in with the arms. Pulling straight down. Up for 1. And down. 2. And down. 3. And down. Take a breath. Okay. Let's see what we got over here. I can never get my feet to the ceiling. Totally lacking a pelvic tuck. Yes, it takes a little bit of a tuck, but there's also flexibility, right? Because no matter how much you tuck, depending on how high you can lift your leg, you may never get your legs to the ceiling because of the hamstrings, yes? Hamstrings and or hips. So it could be one of those two things right there. And really, it's almost like the tuck helps cheat it, because when we bring the legs up, right, I'm thinking about the abs and less of the tuck, even though that's what's happening is a tucking action, focusing on the abs. But if you get that extra little tuck, that does bring the legs a little bit higher, and that makes it look like it's more vertical than it actually is, versus just leaning back would also cheat it too, but we don't want to chop her, okay? So, okie dokie. Last set, the most amount of numbers, yeah? So we got 4 there, okay? Don't worry, it comes in time, I promise you. This definitely looked like shit on me when I first started doing it too, okay? So we're gonna go for 4. Here's 3, we're gonna go for 4. Yeah, we're going for 4, yes. Right side, and then we're done with this, okay? Right side, left hand high, squeezing in. I'll do it sideways so you can see it. 3, 2, 1, up for 1, and down. 2, and down. 3, back. 4, and back. Whew. Take a quick breath. Yeah, this is good stuff. We're all going to be ready for beach weather. Yeah, with masks on, of course, but we'll all be ready for beach weather. Yes, got nothing else to do but work out. Okay, other side, left side, then we're done with these. 4, quick and easy. Yes, here we go. Right hand on top of the left, squeezing in. Up for 1, and back. 2, and back. These are getting hard. 3, and down. 4, and back. Good stuff. Okay, a couple breaths there. We'll switch it up here in just a second. But this is feeling good. You guys are like my accountability partners, making me do work, which is good. Okay, so, a quick question. I'll take a moment to read that while I breathe. How many days a week would you recommend working on these? 7. No. If you could do like conditioning twice a week, that's good. I mean, it's hard with pole and all the different things that you need to do, because there's floor work, there's heels, there's exotic, there's contemporary dance, it could be hip hop dance, we could do power pole, you know? And it's like, we start to become spread thin. For me, I like to come back and do a bunch of conditioning stuff, because in a space like this, I'm super not motivated to do anything on the pole, because, and it's my own rationale, it's me justifying why I'm being lazy. Pole's not tall enough, room's not big enough, right? We could get a lot done in a small space, but for me, I feel like what's best served in here for me is conditioning kinds of things like that. But at least a couple of days a week of conditioning, or if I'm not feeling like doing some interesting tricks or combos off of Instagram or whatever that it is that I've saved, I'll always go back to strength and conditioning, because that's always there for me, yeah? Okay, so we'll do a little oblique action, okay? And then we will take it into either like a pulling drill. Let's see where we're at. We're like a little over halfway. Okay, good. So we're gonna do some lean outs. Okay, let me turn it to the side here so that you can see the one side really good. And then when I go to the other side, you'll know what's happening. Or I can move, it's really not that hard. Okay, so we're gonna do lean outs, cupids, what other name do they have? Print stand kind of stuff, okay? So what we're gonna do, okay, you're gonna have your knee, okay, hooking the pole about hip height, and you're gonna be squeezing with the knee or squeezing the heel towards your butt, okay? The bottom foot needs to be close to the base of the pole, and instead of the foot being parallel, I guess, with the pole or facing forward, I'm going to turn it out to the side a little bit. It's a little external rotation from the hip. That way when I lean this direction over the foot, I can actually use the toes to help push me back, okay? So if the foot was forward, I would only be rolling over the blade of the foot as I go sideways, and that means I can only grip with my pinky toe and the second toe. What is that, the ring toe? Is that even a thing? And I can't really push back, okay? So we're here. Now, the caveat here is if you have really tight feet, meaning like plantar flexion, you may not be able to go as far because for me, I can go super deep, right? Like into this, so I can go deeper, but you may not be able to hit that range because the foot is just resisting and pushing back. Regardless of where we're at, just a nice level, okay? Leg here, it doesn't need to be way up here or anything like this. Not to say that you couldn't do that, okay? From here, I want to think about leaning away from the pole while I'm kicking myself in. So if I was to take my leg off, I would fall away from the pole. So this is what's pulling me back, is I'm leaning away, yeah? Hands are going to be on the hips, and you want to think about pushing the pelvis forward as you go sideways, okay? So it's almost like I'm trying to do these between two tight New York buildings, and this is all the workout space that I have, right? I can't bend forward, I can't bend backwards because that space isn't available. Very straight and linear. So if I did it towards you guys, this is about as straight as it's going to be even though it's turned to the side, right? I'm not doing it like this. Sideways. You see how I'm hollow and kind of bent over? Yeah? I want to push the pelvis forward so I can reach sideways like I'm diving through a crack, okay? So, we're going to do, let's do 2 sets. We'll do shoot for up to 10. This is going to be your own work, so I'm not going to count you, yes? But here you are, the foot's turned out. Hands would be easy on the hips, right? The head would be next, and then reaching away with the arms would be the hardest, the most leverage, yes? Okay, and as you decide to go down, we at least need to get totally sideways, totally horizontal, or maybe a little bit lower if you have it in the hip. But think about squeezing this oblique to bring you back and squeezing it on the way down, so like a negative oblique. Okay, so don't just drop and think about the positive pull of coming back up, but think about going really slow through this ab so it gets to work on the way down and up, okay? So here we go. I'll start here on my hips first, and we're just to start going at our own pace, either sideways, horizontal, or more. Nice and smooth, squeezing through the oblique on the way up, and squeezing to slowly release us on the way down, yes? Pelvis is pushing forward, so we're nice and straight like a board. Oh my God, I feel these already. Going nice and slow is always the hardest. Yes, boom. I got maybe 3 more in me. 3. 2, I'm going to feel these later, and 1. Pausing here. If you want to keep going, you can. Then we're going to switch to the other side. I'll turn my little base this direction so you can see me over here. Yeah, a couple quick breaths. And then we switch right to the other side. Okay, minimize the amount of downtime that we have. This might be your wonky side. This is for me. Okay, so same thing. Knee is hip height, nice parallel to the floor with the leg. Yes, foot close to the base of the pole, pushing into the toes, really leaning away. It's almost like you're trying to reach the thermostat without leaving the pole at the same time. Yes, hands are on your hips, push the pelvis forward, chest comes back just a little bit, squeeze in with the booty so you have something pulling you back, and away we go. Obliques on this side. Nice and slow. And go. Squeeze at the top. If you're at the top and you don't feel anything, squeeze a little bit more. Like someone's poking you in your side and it's uncomfortable and you don't like it. Yeah, it's an uncomfortable tickle. Creeper status. 3 more. 2. Last one. Squeeze, hold, pause. Great. Quick breath, quick drink. We're doing good. We'll be back to the other side. One more quick set over here. One more other side. You can still do the same amount of leverage, or you can switch and do something else. Then we're going to look at my pulling descent drill, which we've done before, and then we'll look at some brass monkey stuff from the floor, or the introduction of brass monkey legs, okay? So last set, same thing as you did before with the hands, or maybe you want to level up and go up one more, okay? We're only going to do 5 just for the sake of time, but you can always come back after this hour is over and do it on your own time, okay? So cool, same thing, knees up here, boom, foot's away from the pole, leaning away, pushing the pelvis forward. This time I'm putting my hands on my head, yeah? Ba, ba, da 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 Macarena. Here we go, in 5, and up. 4, 3, oh yeah, this is good. I can really feel the slow descent. 2, last one, and pull through the side. Fantastic, great. Quick breath, I see the question. I'll come to it after we do the second side here. Let me turn this over here for good measure. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. Yeah, boom. Other side, okay? Boom. Here, squeezing in. Hands high, here we go for 5. Oh, I feel the water inside me. 4. 3. 2. Last one. And up. Okay. Take a breath, we'll look at the question. Right? Putting my bottom foot closer to the pole feels harder to get leverage on my top knee, okay? Well, maybe we need to lean a little bit more, right? So part of it is leaning out. So, and it can also be depending on what the flexibility is in the foot, kind of what I was mentioning, yes? So let's just say where most people typically start, right? Sometimes they don't know, they're just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this shape, right? Right now I'm standing and I'm fairly well stacked underneath my foot, okay? So I don't even need this knee, right? I could just stand right here, okay? So then if I lean out, I feel like I'm not getting a whole lot of lean when it's far away from the pole, because what do I really need this leg for? It's almost like I'm doing yoga and doing like a bow or something like this. And from here, I'm really more folding over the hip than I am using my abs to bring me up. This is just my personal feeling about this, right? So the more we can bring the foot in. So maybe you just need to walk it a little bit in and maybe not as much as what you were doing. So you might need to find a happy spot. But typically, the more closer you get it to the pole, right, now we're creating like an acute triangle, right? It goes down, it kicks back up, and then it comes back in so that I can lean out here, yes? So we might need to feel like you're not getting enough leverage yet, but we can either bring it down, maybe you need to bring it just a little bit higher. I don't know which one's working for you, but really think about really leaning out away so that you can kick yourself back in the butt. Okay, so I don't know if that will help you or not, but just store that for later and we'll look at it, okay? Okay.
Do you want me to read the questions too?
That's okay. So, what we're gonna do here now we're gonna look at my pulling drill, okay? We did this last time in the level 1 too, but this is great for all levels. I don't think you can ever learn this too early, okay? So I'm gonna try it standing up, but then we'll also come back doing it in the stronghold, okay? So the drill that I did, okay, is we're gonna reach high like we did before, and then we're gonna bring our knees up. And without my body moving in space, I'm going to slide my hands down, okay, into this position. Because we could hang like this, right? Or we could hang like this. But what if I learn how to loosen the grip enough that as I'm pulling down on the pole, which would be pulling me up, I'm letting the hands slide at the same time. It's like basically like you're walking on a treadmill, right? You're going nowhere fast, okay? So this is what it looks like, okay? Doesn't matter which hand is high, you're gonna play with both, okay? Boom, so if I'm hanging here, I'm gonna tuck my knees up, watch as my hands go down, but I don't go anywhere. And then I can straighten the arms down. My knees are barely off the ground. I don't know if you can see it. I think you can. I can get one more pull. And then release myself down. Magic, okay? So that's what I want you to try right now. okay? Grab as high as you can on the pole, okay? And it might not work today, but we're gonna switch it into some other things. But this is how you can get your hands into a strong hold or into the pocket is what I call it, right? So that when you're starting to do like aerial inversions, that you can make that grip change so that you come back to a position of power instead of being like, oh, I'm hanging over dear leg. Yeah, I know, right? Kind of crazy. So try it again. Yes. Face forward. It's a hard thing, right? We understand how to do static spins, right? Like we understand that we could spin around the pole, right? And not grip too hard and not slip, right? So we need to do this, but from a vertical pole, yes? Okay, so give it a couple tries, yes? Let it boggle your brain because it doesn't get easier, it just gets more complex and interesting. Yes, try a different hand, reach really high, hold, boom. Yes, you can bring your knees up, slide the hands, pull. I'm pulling on the pole, right? This would pull me up. But what if I loosen my grip as I pull at the same time? Then I can extend my hands. Slide the hands back down without moving, and then release yourself to the ground again. Okay? Give it a couple tries. See what happens. Throw me some questions. And then we have a couple other things to do. This is the one thing you take home today. This is the one thing you should store for life, yeah? Yeah, this is my time where I get to breathe. And I get to like pretend you guys are doing it, watching it. I'm like, you over there! Stop moving! Just keep the hands moving and you don't move in space. Come on, you panty weights, what is this? Okay. Yeah, my chest is forward, but I don't necessarily need the friction to keep me from sliding, okay? I mean, there's nothing I can do. My chest is on the pole, yeah? Yeah, my body is touching, but that's not necessarily what's keeping me in space, yeah? It's the right amount of pulling upwards while the hands are loose and sliding. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like trying to do a tug of war, right? With a rope, and you're pulling as hard as you can on the other team, yet the rope is starting to slip through the hands, right? Because if we had a really good tug of war and we were both pulling backwards and strong, we would be propelling ourselves backwards, pulling them into the pit, right? So think of it like that, perhaps, maybe a tug of war, okay? So I'm going to give you one other variation to kind of take with you, and then we're going to look at the last part because we're doing good on time. Let me make sure we're right on time for this little 60 minutes. I need another clock. Let's go. 11:30. Come on, reset. What is it?
2:18.
Yeah, cool. Perfect. 12 minutes, okay? So if this is working good, this would be the most basic, like, demonstration of the skill, okay? So then we want to come back, and depending on where you're at, a level 1, a level 2, a 3, 4, it doesn't really matter, okay? Then you can start to come back to your stronghold, right? You want to start trying different shapes, okay? So you might be here, you might pulled in, you might tuck, you might bring your knees up, right? And actually my hands are straight, but here, and then slide the hands, and then come back down, and then slide the hands in this shape, okay? Because once we start to get to our actual inversions level 2 kind of stuff, typically what happens is you start out with good intentions of having a really good stronghold, and then you chop her back, and your arms go straight because they can't hold your own weight. That's okay. But then when you try to do an outside leg hook, your stupid arm is in the way, and you can't hook the pole. So what do? Pull your hands down, and you have space to hook. So I'll demonstrate really quick, even though this is not what we're really focusing on right now. Okay, so imagine I'm a standard person trying to understand my choppers, yes? I'm in this position, like, yeah, my arms are bent, really good, yeah? And then I come back and it's clunk, okay? So now I can't hook, yeah? Let me turn sideways, boom. Now I can't hook because my arm is in the way. Does this make sense? Now my arm is out of the way, and now I can hook for an outside leg hook or something like that, okay? So that's what I want you to, to work on. Not happening, don't worry, just keep playing with it, yes? Rome wasn't built overnight.
And
Okay.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, Rome wasn't built overnight or in a day. Or a fucking year, okay? Rome was not built, okay? By Romans, okay?
Oh my God, stop talking.
I think it was Egyptians or Persian slaves, I don't know. Okay, so now the last thing that we're going to wrap up with, brass monkey kind of stuff, okay? So brass monkey, okay, is a big inversion that we do, okay? So we're just going to look at the legs, And this is why we might want to have our plow or a shoulder stand, or working on coming up through the brass monkeys, okay? So if I was to go upside down, I'll do it vertically, but the brass monkey would be the inside leg hooking and kicking around, okay? So the pole is to the inside of the knee, and then I would be upside down, right? And this would be my brass monkey shape, okay? But what we want to focus on today is just the legs and the gripping action there, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to do it from a few different angles on the floor, okay? And we're going to work on getting up into a shoulder stand, okay? But the nice thing is we can use the pole to our advantage, okay? So when I go for this, okay, I want the highest shoulder stand possible. So I want the pole as close to the armpit as possible, okay? Because if I put it here by the side body or by my ribs, when I shoulder stand, right, I'm going to be behind the pole, okay? Which means that if I have to lean forward to catch the pole, when my shoulders are grounded out here, my shoulder stand becomes less tall, okay? Isn't as high, okay? So I want to get the pole almost into my armpit to where it's a little bit stiff. Okay, then I can use the pole to assist me, and the other hand is going to be on my side so that as I roll back into this plowy shape, as I go up, don't just hook and do this, okay, because my ass is back, right? It's almost like I'm rolling out and hooking. I want to go up and then hook as high as I can, okay? You see how my chest is in my chin, okay? That's good. So I'm hooking the inside leg behind the knee, okay? And then I'm also trying to take that foot across and behind my butt. Then the other leg will come behind the pole. You flex the foot, and you're going to kick into the pole like this. So as I'm kicking forward like this, I am squeezing and pulling down with the inside leg and pushing in that direction at the same time. And if that works, then as you kick and pull, you might be able to get your shoulders off the ground just a little bit to come back up, okay? So that's what we're going to play with here for a second. I'll come to the other side. I'll do it a bunch of different directions for you, and then I'll see if there's any comments up there. Okay, so we want to get as high as we can. If you have a really tight neck or you don't do a whole lot of shoulder stands or plows, now's a good time to get on them. You're definitely going to want them in the future for whatever type of movement stuff that you do. Okay, once again from here, I'm going to use the pole. My other hand is by my side. I roll back into my plow first, and then I try to go up and then hook. Other leg goes behind, flex, kick, squeeze, pull. Maybe you'll start to sit up, and then maybe, if it's going really good, you can reach up and grab the pole. Do you see how the pole is to the outside of my hip, but the inside of my knee? And that's why I can sit here, is because I'm creating tension between these two spots. Just like when I do my basic climb, right? It's on the outside of the foot and the inside of the knee, and you sandwich the pole between these two spots. Similar concept, okay? So, all of this is thank you. Okay, so, keep playing with this. Let me know how it's working, if it is or not, okay? Typical issues that arise from this are that if you don't get a really high shoulder stand, you're like, oh, I'm in my armpit. I'm asking you for the armpit. You're giving me what you think is the armpit, but really it's like your side, your ribs or whatever, or the side body. So get deeper, yes? And then when you roll back, don't just be like, huh, holding here. Really try to drive up as high as you can, because the higher you are, the easier it is to get your shoulders off of the ground, okay? If you just sink when you do it, or you grab, you're like, yes, I got really high, I hooked, and then you slid down, you're going to have a really hard time getting off of the ground, because now the booty is back here, and you're going to have to pull your chest up to this low area versus it going straight up here, yeah? So try not to be here, because you're going to have a harder time getting up, yes? Play with this for just a little bit. Let me know how it goes. Works, good. Okay. So if you're level 1, this is a great ab exercise and a great way to work on the legs. I'm going to do my left side for good balance and good measure, because I typically don't. Yeah. I always have problems transitioning from this move to shoulder stand and spinning down. Yeah. So reversing it, basically, coming from this and then dropping into the shoulder and coming down. Yeah, we'll save that for a different class. Oh. Hold on. Video paused. We didn't lose it yet. That's good. Okay. So you mean like spinning down like Jenny does, where she kind of whips around the pole? That's different if that's what I think you're saying. Okay, we'll save that for a different day. Really what that typically is you actually need to loosen the grip as you spin down and around. so that you can come around the corner. Most people, okay, fine, I'll demonstrate really quick. Yeah, and it's harder when you have shorts on. When you have pants on, it's easy because nothing ever sticks, which is great. But, so let's say you get ready to come out. I'm going to do it this way so you can see the difference, right? So you come out, you hook, and you're like, okay, ready? And then what you want to do is you want to come around the corner like so, while this loosens and slides down at the same time. But typically what most people do is instead of taking the leg out and around the corner, they just take the leg and then they try to sit up, right? It's like they're just coming over the top like a tomahawk versus going around the corner and letting the foot slide out as you go around the corner, okay? But that's definitely more like a flow kind of stuff. So Rusty, my abs said no. Well, they say no today, but maybe tomorrow they'll say yes. Yes? Okay, so maybe this is working and we're getting up there. And let me see if there's any one last thing that I wanted to do before we wrap up. So let's see. So we're here. Yeah, if it is kind of working and you're working your way up, oh my God. Is it reconnecting or are we done yet? I can't tell. The internet's acting kind of crappy. Live video paused. Come on. Okay, and we're back. The video is pausing. I don't know why. I'm surprised it hasn't kicked me off. It usually kicks us off after 43 minutes, yes? But if we're coming up and this is working good and you want a little extra bit to help you out here, boom, you're up, you hook, right? You're squeezing, you're pulling yourself up, you squeeze, right? Maybe you can get this little bit right here where you're hanging out, okay? And then if we want to get crazy, okay, this is for my level 2 people. Okay, right knee is hooked, right hand is holding on, left leg comes around for a little switcheroo around the back. Yeah, and then you can come back to the floor. You can get your magnets on, push, and come off, yeah, or something like that. Whoa, how did that happen, right? Right hook, whatever leg is hooked, is the hand that grabs. I'll do it from a different side just so you can kind of see it, and then we'll probably wrap up here. Boom, up, hook, hook. Yes, we're up, squeeze, other leg goes back, right? We need a little counterbalance for a second. Right knee is hooked, right hand stays on, left hand is off. Come up and across, reach, switch, leg, and then you can do whatever it is you want from here, right? You can come back down, you can come off, be like, ah, dump yourself off. Nothing really there, not a fluidity class today, just a power class, okay? So, I think we're right at the limit there, which is good for the 60 minutes, nice and express. Some things to work on, okay? So, I hope you enjoyed it, yes? If you'd like to donate, I always appreciate donations and tips or whatever. So that's Venmo, accrobrandon, PayPal, accrobrandon at Gmail. If you don't have any funds, it's okay, just watch, thumbs up, share it with other people. Like I said, this will be up on my replay here for 24 hours.